Howdy everyone, and welcome to the long overdue cleaning video. I had hoped to do this with a lapel mic so you guys could hear me a little better, but as we saw, my lapel mic kind of sucks. So today I'm going to be doing a lot of cleaning that's been long overdue, and I'll take you guys around the office, I guess is what we would call it. Forgive me, I usually prefer to script things so I don't lose track of what I'm saying and I say it at a decent pace. I've been kind of going all day, been cleaning this, cleaning that, cleaning this. So I'm already a little sweaty because it's really fucking hot in here. It's always hot in here. But let me show you guys the scope of what I'm going to be cleaning today. So right here next to the couch, we've got our closet space. Right now it's a bit of a mess because our space that we had normally set aside for other objects like our groceries and whatnot has been taken over. We had someone move back into the house. I had to make some space to accommodate for them. So right now we've got a lot of stuff crammed into just 2 rooms. Which makes me always look at this closet space right here. Like, I've got a lot of crap. Actually, let me move the light. Is that a little better? That looks a little better. But we've got all this closet space up here just taken up by boxes. Mainly for the Dark Souls board game and all my Gunpla. But these aren't just single Gunpla. There's maybe like 4 or 5 in each. It's every Gunpla I've had over maybe about 10 years. I'm hoping to break some of these boxes down, get these Gunpla sorted between what I want to keep and what I can maybe sell secondhand on eBay, and hopefully we can utilize this top space a little better. Also, you'll see this vaguely mannish figure in the corner. That is not just a little weirdo Halloween joke thing. Oh, and I guess it is, but what used to be under here, this was a mannequin that I had made for a life-size Michael Myers, and it never really worked out. The proportions were wrong and it had some stability issues. Right here I'll put a little clip on the screen of the Michael Myers we ended up making, and he's just a nice little Halloween decoration, but right now there's no room in our office for him, so he's outside guarding the plants. But I've been requested to finally get rid of him. He's been here for he's been in there for about maybe 2 years, so he's finally gonna go. Little spider. I don't know where we got him. He's kind of cute. The spare computer will stay up there. Yeah, we've got a TV in the closet. It just happened to work out that way, but it's actually pretty convenient. A bunch of these side boxes and whatnot will probably stay because they're full to the brim with actually like important stuff. Let me show you my office space, I guess, where all the magic happens. So, lo and behold, this is my primary space. I craft here, I paint here, I play games here, I pretty much live here at my desk. My little gamer chair here. I'm not sure how I feel about this chair. I mainly bought it for the arms because I like this style of arms, and it's nice because this little braided pattern helps keep the padding in shape, but otherwise it was okay. But anyways, as you can see here, I've just got a metric fuck ton of bits and junk laying around. There's the fucking Celtis, there's a little shield I made for Instagram. And over here, I've just got supplies and crap and Warhammer boxes. This is mainly the Warhammer collection. Stays on this shelf here. Gunpla over there. More bits. A box of bits boxes. This is where most of my finished minis are. The Tuatodon stays up in that bag right there I got from Nathan, of course. It's always Nathan. The Necrons stay under here, And sadly, all of my Chaos Space Marines currently live in this box. It's not glamorous, but it is padded in there, so nothing gets, like, busted up. But hopefully I can remedy that one day. I got some old terrain up there, some crafting supplies. But in general, yeah, it's just a fucking mess. This is not a glamorous lifestyle. There's the ranch, the jalapeno ranch from last night's dinner. Pretty good. Like I said, we've got a lot of stuff crammed into just 2 rooms. Thankfully, the person I'm sharing the room with does not really need a lot of space, but I'm not gonna... She's off that way, I guess, technically. But I'm not gonna show her space because, I don't know, I felt like that'd be a little rude. But, yeah, before I start cleaning this, my main priority is probably going to be cleaning this, because that's a tragedy. If I can maybe get this little sub-shelf area sorted, that'd be great. Up here, definitely needs some attention. I probably won't do anything over here, mainly just because there's really not a lot to do, although I guess I could get rid of that bowl from like 2 nights ago. Yeah, I'm that kind of guy. I'm sorry. But as you can see, I've just got like all my spray cans, my Monster Hunter board game stuff sits up here. I have some finished products sitting in the back from other videos. Up top is a waifu figure collection that I've been building over the years. And I'd love a spot to display all of it, but like I said, we don't have room for anything. I mean, besides all my shit, apparently. But I don't know. If I could somehow get more of an income stream to rent my own place, rent an apartment, that's kind of the end goal for the channel, I guess. Because right now it's not enough space for 2 people to live comfortably, I guess. And granted, yeah, we do have more stuff, you know, outside of the where am I? The office. But it's kind of public space. There's a lot of junk out there, and it's easier if everything is crammed into these 2 rooms, I guess. But there's my little dark cloud diorama. I actually really like that still. Probably one of my favorite builds. But now that you guys see the pigsty I live in, I'm going to shift my attention back over to the closet, and we'll probably start with the old Michael Myers. Then we'll get into the boxes. Alright folks, while I start to assemble Michael Myers here, I'm going to go ahead and start answering the questions that you all asked me on the community post that I had set up. I'll just be interjecting randomly in this little work montages with these questions. So let's get on it. The first question is from Werewolf Studios, a good friend of the channel, and he's got 4 questions. Number 1, you can make 1 canonical change to 40k, either in the past or going forward. What do I change? I think generally, I know it's been said to death, but the introduction of Primaris was so sloppily handled on all fronts. I feel like there was a better way to do all of that, and it really just kind of twisted the knife in the sides of everyone who doesn't play Marines. I feel like it really exacerbated Marine hate. I don't know, you could have written the lore better. You could have just ignored it entirely and just rolled out a new armor mark. I don't know. Number 2, what's the best armor feature? I'm not really sure if he meant power armor for 40k or just regular armor in general. For regular armor, I do love me a good Saleh. But if we're talking about power armor, the fact that Space Marine armor and most power armor in general is air conditioned. It's got a temperature regulator, and if I could have built-in AC at all times, you know for a fact I would be doing that. Number 3, what keeps me motivated when creating videos? Honestly, getting a lot of views and comments. It lets me know that people like my content, and I like interacting with people. I like answering comments, answering questions, whatnot. and just the general reinforcement that I'm putting out content that people actually care about. It's reassuring. Like, the recent obscure lore videos have been doing really well, and it makes me want to do more. Not just because I like the subjects that I'm talking about, but because people want to see me talk about those things anyways. So it all lines up nicely. And number 4, what do I feel like is the best piece of advice you've been given? That's kind of a big question there. I used to be really impatient, and I had a lot of anger problems. Just generally learning to be more patient and observant whenever there's a conflict or something, trying to see issues from every angle and viewpoint. These days I play a lot of devil's advocate because I'm trying to understand both sides of an argument, I don't know, information and knowledge is invaluable when you're going into a situation like that. But to me, it's important to understand something even if you don't agree with it. But in general, just slowing the pace down. Not everything is instant, and sometimes the good things in life you gotta work slowly at, Alright, so question number 2. Can I paint some more obscure Chaos warbands with unique color schemes? Yes, something I really like doing. I have a few in mind. You are specifically requesting the Brotherhood of Darkness. They were very close to being in one of the warbands focusing on their paint jobs, because I have seen them before. They have all these yellow runes all over their body. But in the process of figuring out which ones I wanted to focus on, I asked my friends, and they helped me vet down the list down to 5 people, and the Brotherhood of Darkness sadly got the cut. But honestly, that's a subject I'm more than willing to come back to at some point. I probably will. But yeah, I'm not opposed to the Brotherhood of Darkness. So my goal right now, it's about 250, and the missus gets home about 6. Try to get everything settled before she gets back, and I think I'm making okay time. I've only been working about 15-20 minutes. My hip is hurting me a little. I have a existing hip injury from something. I actually don't know how I hurt it, but I pinched a nerve there, and it slows me down sometimes. But I took some medicine. It's starting to kick in. I'm feeling pretty good about my odds. I want to get all this bagged up and ready to throw out before she gets home. It's a lot harder to clean this space when there's 2 people. There's foam in the fingers? Oh, I never knew that. Cool. But yeah, hopefully after getting this body sorted out, I'll be able to start sorting out the gunpla boxes, and I can do that sitting down. So hopefully my hip doesn't hurt the rest of the night. Question number 3 from an existent human, very, very long time channel supporter. Very, very thankful to have you here, man. Do I ever plan on covering some conversions at different scales? Yeah, actually. At some point I wanted to try to sculpt my own Epic minis, like for Epic 40K. I know there are action figure sized things like Figma that are about 6 inches. Trying to do like some action figure / Figma sculpting or converting. I feel like that would be fun. And I like the scale that 54 millimeter sits at for like Inquisitor. Eric's Hobby Workshop recently did a video covering Inquisitor, and just looking at those minis, I was like, yeah, those look really good, And I've kind of eyed, that scale for a while, and I feel like it'd be simultaneously easier to sculpt and harder because it's a bigger surface, so you can do more fine detail, you know. But it's something I'm definitely not opposed to doing down the line. All right, a small bundle of questions from Mr. Scalene Triangle, another longtime supporter for the channel. Really, man, thank you. Thank you for the continued support. Number one, is there a model that's now out of production that I wish I had? Man, there's so many. Like, a lot of the, I guess, middle hammer kits that are being phased out currently. Like the older Sternguard veteran kit. I really like that. And now I can only get it with a recast. But the holy grail of models for me, the Volks series 35th scale model of the Edelweiss from Valkyria Chronicles. It's like the main tank. I don't paint tanks on the reg, but I love Valkyria Chronicles. One of my favorite strategy series. But I would pour blood, sweat, and cum into that kit to make it look good. It's just expensive and even more rare because it was kind of a limited run. So I don't think I'm going to get that. But I would love it, you know. But, yeah, maybe I can 3D print it or something, but I don't know. Question number 2, what's a color I haven't used on a project that I would like to use eventually? I can't really think of a particular color, but in general, I like how colors are distributed on models. So for me, it's more like color schemes that I want to try, like color distribution. I don't know, if I had to pick a color, I guess, probably somewhere in like the darker purple or like a desaturated red area. I don't know. A couple of years ago, orange and purple was my favorite color combination, but these days I'm really growing into a burgundy kind of area. I'm really enjoying like that kind of dark red. I don't know, it just it clicks in my brain and it makes the feel good juice come out. And yeah. Number 3, do I have a favorite 40k in-universe event? Not really. Badab War has always been interesting, and there are so many people involved in the fall of Cadia that the sheer amount of people that participated makes it interesting. Like, if you go check any wiki, you're like, holy fuck. Like, the entire fucking Imperium is here, you know? And, like, every fucking Xeno is just passing by. But yeah, in general, the events that I like are just, like, smaller events that don't really get a lot of coverage. I feel there's a bit of appeal in less details. Like, for example, the Blackguard holding off Tyranids at Doom Gorge. That entire story can be summed up in like 5 sentences, but I don't know, there's something kind of appealing about that, you know, with like 40k's kind of broken, incomplete history. It kind of adds to the whole aesthetic. Number 4, before discovering models like Gundam and Warhammer, what are some things I enjoyed doing? This is going to be kind of weird, but I don't really remember, if that makes sense. I don't know, I mainly played video games my whole life. Like, I've been playing shit since I was like 3. When I was younger, I used to draw a lot, but I kind of fell out of that. Coming into high school, I was really interested in carpentry, but I never really committed to the tools and the price of entry. But other than that, I've been just really interested in trying to find some kind of creative medium. Like, I did a little blog at some point talking about random video game stuff, but it didn't really catch on. But yeah, I think just having some kind of creative outlet for something is what I've really been craving. And this channel works perfectly to that goal. And final one, ever played a Metal Gear game? Yes, I'm a very big Metal Gear fan in general. It's been a while since I've actually played, like hands-on played the series. I did it mainly like late middle school, early high school. So it's been a while, but I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record here, but Snake Eater is my personal favorite just to play. Metal Gear Solid 4 made me feel like I was watching a fucking movie. I really like the graphic style of Metal Gear 1. I really like the early 3D graphics, like PS1, PS2. When it came to Phantom Pain, I really couldn't give a shit about it for some reason. I think I just kind of wasn't really interested in playing it. I know what happens story-wise, just because I watched a little playthrough out of curiosity, but like I felt no urge to actually play that game. But yeah, in general, I like Metal Gear. I feel like the Metal Gear series has given Kojima's name a bit of mysticism that people kind of imbue with some sense of like otherworldliness that gives him like some kind of rock star level appeal. But like, I don't know, man. Death Stranding looked boring as shit. I'm not playing that. Probably a bad time to mention that I lost my belt while I was on vacation. So, if my ass falls out, don't screenshot it. Alright, question number 5. One of my next projects is going to be a Gundam Zaku, Black Star. Yes. In a battle aftermath kind of diorama. I'm planning on making a large scenery piece in whatever biome I can accommodate. I've never really worked on a project of this scale before. Can I offer some advice? Yeah, I've put together some fairly simple little dioramas before. The main thing is going to be blocking out the general shape of your diorama with foam. Either the white little pellety kind that is really fucking annoying to deal with, or like proper pink foam that a lot of people in this hobby use for crafting. Generally block out the shape of your landscape, and then leave a spot for any kind of little building you want to do. Then from there you can cover the ground. A lot of people use like plaster of Paris, but if you want a nice budget option, you can get by with some loosely applied toilet paper sheets or paper towel soaked in a little PVA glue. It'll take a little while to dry, but it's a nice budget option, especially for like bulk, I guess. And then after that dries, it gives you a nice semi-uneven surface for you to apply. I guess you said desert or waste, so you can do like sand and then fine grade sand, mix it up a bit to give some variation. If you wanted to add a little more visual interest to like a desert / wasteland kind of thing, try getting some crackle paste. You can put that down in a spot or two to simulate like the sun-baked soil effect kind of thing, and then transition it into a sandy dune. So it's not just a big solid chunk of sand. But yeah, I don't do a lot of dioramas, but I find if you try to find a reference image and base your general composition around it, it'll kind of help you map out everything. But yeah, I hope that goes well. I really like the Black Star Zaku and Zakus in general, man. Like, Zakus are really cool. They're so versatile. You can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want with them, and they'll always look good. They're like a miracle of mecha design. They're genuinely one of the best fucking mechas ever. Yeah, Zaku's rule. I agree. Question number 6 is another multi-part. Top 3 video games of all time, and my favorite Monster Hunter entry. Alright, so this is very difficult it's hard for me to even put together a top 10. So a top 3 is like very, very restrictive, but I gave it some decent thought, and I'm gonna have to go with Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Demon Souls, and Mabinogi. Everything that I do draws from one of those in some way. Even though it's been a while since I've done a proper Demon Souls run, and I'm not as active on Mabinogi as I used to be. Just the general design and aesthetic principles from these games really, like, it has a really big impact on me in general. Favorite Monster Hunter? I'm gonna have to go with either Monster Hunter Tri or Monster Hunter World. and by extension Iceborne, minus the Clutch Claw. Compared to the previous gens, like Tri compared to 2nd gen, World compared to 4th gen, it really felt like the world was becoming more of a world and not like isolated arenas. Like, don't get me wrong, I do love old Monster Hunter, and I have been begging for someone to replay Freedom 1 with me for like 3 years. But a part of it that I really like, not just the gameplay, but like just the world, the Monster Hunter world. Oh my god, that's why they named it that. Whoa, title drop. But I love watching monsters interact within their environments and with other creatures. Anything that makes the game feel more lifelike. And 3rd gen, you had monsters with the stamina system and swimming, and you just got to be more immersed in the world. And then 5th gen came along and gave us these beautiful graphics and these big maps with no load screens. You could have monsters wander in and out of the area. Although I think 4th gen did that too. Don't quote me. But anything that serves the world becoming more real is what I really like. But picking a favorite is really hard. I feel like it's always been a step forward for each game. Even from Iceborne to Rise and Sunbreak, it wasn't as much of a step forward. I think the wire bug mechanic is a little out of place, although some wire bug skills do kind of work. The switch skill system is good though. Wire bugs kind of hit and miss for me, but the switch skill system is really great, and I hope 6th gen expands on that in some way without the wire bug. Like, I was fine with the claw, grapple hooking around. In general, if you gave me more navigation like 5th gen, and then added swimming to just really make this super immersive 3D map with just a ton of verticality and depth with the water, I'd be so in, dude. Number 2, am I interested in any other tabletop games? Be it for lore, conversion projects, blah, blah, blah. Nathan tried to get me into Battletech and Conflict 47, which both look cool. For Battletech, I played MechWarrior Online for a short time, and Conflict 47 is like alternate history, World War II, and the German faction, they use like werewolves and zombies and shit, and Nazi occultism is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. Now, I'm not like, I sympathize with the Nazis, but like, to be so power hungry, you pay a bunch of government employees essentially to be like, all right, go find fucking ghost powers that we can use to rule the world. Like, it's so fucking unhinged that, like, I don't know, like, it's it's just funny. I could be convinced to play Warhammer Fantasy Battle or the Old World when it releases, considering it ever does. I also considered getting into Middle-earth Strategic Battle. I always forget what the G is. The Lord of the Rings war game. To play with my dad, but I was kind of unsure. The system looks a little more complex than the pick-up and play that I was kind of looking for. Might look for something a little simpler. Maybe I'll get one of the Lord of the Rings board games or something. The main thing I want to do eventually, and I want to do it on the channel, I want to make my own war game. I've been homebrewing stuff for various games for years, and I want to give it a crack myself. I have two main ideas that I want to pursue. One of them is either kind of like a skirmish tier game, and the other one is more of a free-form role-playing game. But that's something I definitely want to like take a crack at on the channel one day. And number 3, what got me into the hobby? This is a very long series of questions, and it's going to be a little longer because I'm going to give you my whole fucking story here. When I was younger, my dad exposed me to AD&D when I was young, and I had fun, but I didn't really think about it after that. And then about halfway through high school, I get invited. Wait a minute, that was fucking Nathan too. God damn it, dude. All right, it was Nathan's 4th edition group, and I played in his campaign for a little while. Eventually, I shifted into the DM role. If I remember correctly, that was when he moved to Alaska for a year. I don't know. I don't remember what the fuck he was doing. He having sex with mooses. So I shifted into the DM role, and I DM'd various campaigns for years. I did 4th edition, Pathfinder, and a lot of homebrew stuff. I've made a couple little systems that I wanted to play, including one for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles that I was really hyped about. And I had a very reliable group of friends. We got together almost every Saturday. And, we didn't always play tabletop. Sometimes when we got there, we'd just be like, hey, let's just fuck around. Let's play Smash or something. But at a certain point, right after the divorce, I lost all my friends. And I felt like I couldn't really get the same experience. Mainly in a creative way, but also, I was just I didn't have friends anymore. So in general, I fell out of role-playing games, and I still have a little bit of interest in them. Like I still want to do a 1st edition Traveler game at some point, but it's not something I've ever come back to. I did a couple one-shots for 5th edition with some friends, but I've never gotten back into a campaign since. I don't know. I feel like the relationship there is a bit strained. But in general, I didn't really have a creative outlet, which really tanked my mental health. And I wandered into the tabletop crafting sphere. Mainly started watching Wylock's Armory videos, and that's why I like his style. He's a very laid-back guy. Compared to other miniature people that I've been watching for years, you can kind of see the transformation to more of a YouTuber kind of guy. Wylock's been doing the same fucking thing for like 8 years, and he doesn't give a shit about anything. I don't know. I really like Wylock, and I credit him for getting me into the crafting side of this part of the hobby, and then eventually schmooved into wargaming. I appreciate it. There's more physicality than writing, because I considered writing for my creative juice hit, I guess. But having things in front of me and no DM role, that kind of like, I DM'd for a long time, and in a sense you do sit out of the action. You control everything, but you're not in the action. But wargaming is more of a collaborative storytelling where people are both DMs and players. No one really sits out. I still don't have any friends to play with. So nothing's really changed. But okay. I played a few skirmish games with my girlfriend. But that's fine. It's not a regular thing. But building this YouTube channel is like a secondary way for me to simultaneously build those worlds as I used to, but also entertain people. Because it's the same lane as DMing for me. But instead of, my group of friends, I get to put it out to the wider audience of the internet. But yeah, that was a 10-minute answer to 3 questions. So yeah, I hope I'd say those 3 questions were substantial. Number 7, what bits or conversion recommendations do you have for an Imperial Fist successor with a medieval fantasy knight theme? Thinking about this before recording, my brain keeps coming back to like a fusion between like Bretonnians and Space Marines, like knightly Space Marines with the very big helmet, ornate helmet directions, and like personalized heraldry and tabards and robes. Maybe like having a little emphasis, like if you really want to go hard on the Bretonnian aspect, like going heavy on like bikers, to invoke the cavalry spirit. I also considered like maybe rules changing to Black Templar instead of Imperial Fist. I mean, they're like cousins anyways, but still. But like the Black Templar get access to Crusader squads, so you can have like Marines in armor and then like accompanied by like their personal serf in a sense. But I mean, you could kind of get the same mileage out of like a regular intercessor squad and then like a scout squad. You know, they're just not like flavor-wise, they're not traveling together. But you know, you could say the serfs are the scouts, and you know, proper knights are Marines. But yeah, if they hunt knights, be prepared to spam meltas and las cannons. But in general, if you're looking for bits, I really like using Yegi. It's a search engine for STLs, and it kind of combs multiple sites at once to, you know, hopefully cast a wider net. But you can find a lot of really good conversion bits for like knightly aesthetics on like CG Trader, My Mini Factory, Colts 3D. Just takes a little bit of poking around. But if I happen to find anything, and I'll leave it down in the description. But with my schedule, I'm not sure if I'll have a lot of time to poke around like that. Number 8, how am I? I'm doing okay. The current Plamo project is more laborious than expected. It's just the scope of the sculpting has blossomed. But it's coming out nicely. I feel rested and exhausted from my vacation. I don't know, it's hard for me to unwind in an unfamiliar area. I'm very excited to get back to doing obscure lore videos, because I have a lot of ideas. Like, it seems like I get my ideas faster than I can put them out, so my list is just growing and growing. And I know that's what I want, and that's what you guys want, so it's like, god damn, I'm just trying to, I want to, I want to get there, you know? I'm also hoping to paint the first batch of Exodites after I get the Celtus Queens recasted. That's going to be a little bit, though. Still working on that sculpt, but I'm like 96% of the way there. I just got to do a small couple of touch-ups, and then I can start looking into proper recasting. Also, a secondary question. Discord server when? I'm not sure if I want to host a Discord server. I feel like every creator has their own server, and I don't really know how much value there'd be in hosting one. Like, I don't know how many people actually would come in there and use it. In general, I feel like a lot of online communities retreat into private Discord servers, which leave the public spaces a little barren. So if you're looking in from the outside, it kind of harms the view. It, you know, keeps it gives a false image of the population, I guess. My local game store has a Discord, and they have a wargaming channel, and nobody fucking uses it. I tried so hard to at least instigate something resembling conversation, but it turns out they're all in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, and they all chat in there. So it's like, well, of course it looks like nobody's fucking playing. You guys are sitting in a goddamn private group on Facebook. Who fucking uses Facebook anymore? But yeah, I generally prefer to keep traffic on the main areas, quote unquote, whatever those might be. I guess it'd be my channel. Plus, I would need a mod or two, and it feels weird to just ask for volunteers like that, since in general, Discord mods have been they've been painted a not very flattering light lately. I'm still working out possible perks for a Patreon, so maybe I will relent and add that in as a part of the rewards, but I'm generally leaning away from it unless there's like an overwhelming community need for one. And if that comes to that point, I'd be active in it, of course. It would be a nice way to quickly talk to you guys, from models and casual shit to send you guys random shit posts and cat pictures. So the Gunpla collection has been narrowed down to this bin, these 3 boxes. Besides the maybe about 8 brand new kits up there, managed to get rid of a total of 11 boxes, which for a space that small is a pretty big improvement, if I do say so myself. I took an inventory of my whole Gunpla collection, and not all of them are super interesting, but a lot of them have a little bit of history and little stories to them. that I'd really like to talk to you guys about one day. Because for me, I feel like those little moments are important. It's part of the reason why my collection is significant. Like, I have a very bog standard, just straight build that has a lot of sentimental value to it. So if you guys are interested one day in a little gunpla tour, let me know. It'll be a short little video. But yeah, I've got about an hour and 15 minutes until all this needs to get out of the way. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to my desk today, but that's always something I can leave for tomorrow. Or maybe later tonight, we'll see. But I'm going to put everything back up in the closet. We'll deal with the Dark Souls board game. And it's going to be rough. You'll see. So, this is the Dark Souls board game that I have accumulated. Well, I got it on Kickstarter, and it was all discounted. So, as you can tell, I enjoy the Dark Souls series somewhat. And I had intended to paint these miniatures at some point. There were quite a bit, actually, that I had thought about just painting for display pieces. And I know there's a channel that has pretty much done exactly that. The board game itself is pretty okay, pretty middling. It needs some house rules to make it good. But my main priority is the miniatures. So this is... I really don't like getting rid of packaging. It makes me feel like I'm missing out, or it's going to be harder to resell. But these boxes just need to go. I've got another bin. I'm going to try to cram as much of it into this bin as possible. I'm going to try to save the Gaping Dragon, the Calamite boxes in particular, while I'm doing this. So anything that can't fit in the bin will go into the larger boxes. I'm not going to try to cram everything into this tiny box. So, yeah. Oh, and I guess all the board game stuff, like the cards. Some of them have tiles, some have cards. But in general, I'm going to try to... I'll save them. I'm not just going to throw them out. The core set I have in a silver briefcase down at the bottom of my shelves. So I do have the core set. It was just easier to take it to parties and game nights in its own little briefcase. So, yeah, I guess we'll just start cramming things into the bin, see what we can do. Get out of here. I don't even know where to start, honestly. I guess, well, if I want to use these boxes, I guess I'll empty them first. Question number 9. What inspired me to make my own homebrew chapter? And am I one to look at other people's homebrews for enjoyment or ideas? I'm not really sure. No official faction really stood out to me in 40k for me to want to play. Like, even as much as I love the Black Templar, I don't think I could play Black Templar. I don't know. It feels like there's an opportunity there for customization and personalization, and I just miss out on it by just saying, oh yeah, I'll just do the default. Like, I don't know. My DMing background kind of defaulted me to creating my own factions, because I never played in any kind of official setting. Whenever we'd start a new game, I always just cracked out something original. And I guess that was kind of what I was used to, so since it was an option, I just did that. I will say I was very close to being a Raven Guard or a Dark Angels player, but the Black Templar rules and units won out, mainly because of the Emperor's Champion, but Dark Angels was really close too. As for looking at other people's homebrews, I don't really look at people's armies with the express purpose of getting or poaching ideas, but sometimes it sparks a train of thought that inspires me. So it's like normal inspiration with like an extra step or two. It's not something I explicitly go out and find, but if I see somebody's custom homebrew, either like on like Instagram or something, I'm just scrolling through and I see it. I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I'll take a look at it. But yeah, thank you for the questions. Question number 10. Hey, Lich. Hello, Mr. Sticky Goat. Why? Actually, I don't want to know. Have I got any favorite recommended Black Library novels? No, I'm not really a reader, especially not with Black Library novels in general. But I've gotten a few suggestions over time, and I'll add that to the list. I'm just not really a novel reading kind of guy in general. I reread Berserk annually, but that's a manga. But other than that, I don't do a lot of it. My dad is a really, really big reading fiend, though. That dude has so many ebooks, and I don't think you could convince me that he hasn't read them all. Question 11. Is Secret Santa truly the superior method of attaining bits? With my current track record of awesome bits, I'm going to have to say yes. But I've gotten really good results out of some online Secret Santas. So if you can get into like a trustworthy online circle with like some friends in Discord or something, or try to spark some interest at your game store, maybe you can get some cool bits for your next build. I had kind of a tertiary idea related to bits that I wanted to focus on for a video, and I'm hoping I can do that sometime. But as things are now, I think I've kind of got the schedule set in until New Year's, and I'm trying not to make plans after that. Just I want to go into a new year feeling like I have some sort of freedom when I know I don't. But yeah, man, I mean, talk to your friends, swap some bits around. Even if you don't have friends, just like me, just try your luck up at a game store. Question number 12. What is my favorite skirmish game? Out of skirmish games, I've only really played Games Workshop related ones: Mordheim, Warcry, 2018 Kill Team, and I played a fan update Mordheim, very similar to it, called Word Wars. The new edition of Kill Team looks really fun, but I haven't got to play it yet. I like the points-based list building from Mordheim and Kill Team, which the newer version of Kill Team doesn't have, but the core mechanics in general just look really solid, and they look fast and easy to play. If I get to making my own war game, like I mentioned earlier, a skirmish level game is what I'd like to operate at. I feel like it's a good balance between the amount of models, cost, like monetary cost, time cost, I guess, as well, depth and length of play session. It all just kind of feels like the general sweet spot for most aspects of the hobby. But to give you a definitive answer, probably Mordheim. Really need to get off my ass and make my Mordheim warband. I said I would earlier this year, but yeah, it just keeps falling behind. I've also got another random idea for a warband. It's not sane at all, but it's just strange enough for me to be very fond of the idea. We'll see if I want to do a bunch of skeletons or that whenever the time comes. Question number 13. What are my thoughts on the Tau? Also, Tau girls. Alright. I like the idea of Tau thematically, but I'm generally not a fan. I like the general idea of them being like the opposite of the Imperium, but it doesn't really feel like it's reinforced mechanically or physically. The models really fall short of the idea of like an alien conglomerate. I mean, you got like Groot, Vespid, Tau. That's it. Like, what kind of alien fucking conglomerate alliance is this? I got more random fucking aliens I've hired in my fucking Chaos Warband, In general, I'm a very big mecha head. I love mecha, realistic mecha, anime mecha, and I gotta say, only like 2 models, 2 mecha suits in the entire Tau range look somewhat decent to me, which is strange because I do generally like the shape of the vehicles. Like I do like the shape of the devilfish, and gameplay-wise, I know they're very heavy on shooting, but that doesn't really appeal to me either. Like the whole marker light thing, I don't really care. So in general, I don't know. If you like Tau, that's fine, but yeah, I don't know. You'd have to convince me to do something related to Tau. I'd rather much pour my energy into Marines, Eldar, almost literally anything else. As for Tau girls, yeah, I'd bone the shit out of a Tau girl. Why not, dude? I am a certified alien fucker, operating under the looks female enough doctrine. Question 14, is my shoe size above 10? I'm going to come clean with you entirely. I wear anything from an 11 to 12, sometimes a wide, but it all depends on brand. The OnlyFans with feet pics is in construction, but I will let you guys know when it comes online. Number 15, cool question and answer. I like it. That's not really a question, but I know you, and I appreciate your support over the years. I guess I'll take this chance to generally thank anyone that's been here since the early days of the channel. It means a lot that you guys have stuck around for this long, and yeah, it's very, very heartwarming. Thank you very much. Number 16, have I ever had a dream that you had to I think in general, I really have to. I wonder if anyone really been as far, even as decided to use even go want to do look more like, but that's a hypothetical. Number 17, how many times did I die to Millennia? I remember she walled me solid for like 2 days until I got her. At the time, I was invading a lot in the Halig tree, mainly pushing people off cliffs and baiting them to get killed. I did the friendly invader thing, lead you through the level and just hope. Either wait for my chance to gank you, or wait until one of the big Erdtree avatars kills you, or force you off a ledge. But at the time I was dual wielding ant spur rapiers and whips. But I eventually got her with spamming Swarm of Flies and abusing the reach of the whips. Now I can kill her pretty consistently. But it's been a while, so I'm probably a shitter again. But I know for a fact I can at least dodge the waterfowl dance without getting hit. Maybe about 70-80% of the time, so that's a plus. Number 18, thoughts on Halo. Never got to play it as much as I wanted to. I didn't have an Xbox or a 360 growing up. Well, I had a 360, but it was brief. We were all planning to score the Master Chief Collection next time it goes on sale on Steam. Mainly, we just want to get in on some of those classic death matches, but me personally, I wanted to try out the Cursed Halo mod too. It looks fun. Really chaotic. Number 19, World Eaters. I'm not a huge World Eaters fan. Out of the God-aligned Chaos Marines, I guess, they seem the most one-note, especially for someone who doesn't read any of the novels. I'm happy that World Eater players get their own codex. It seems like that's something wanted for a long time. But personally, I don't know. I think like Thousand Suns, Death Guard, World Eaters, and the Emperor's Children that doesn't exist. I feel like they didn't really need to be their own codexes. I can see why people want them to be separated, but I don't really feel like it warranted it, I guess. I don't know. It feels like the effort could have just been summarized with some special rules applied to the standard Chaos Marine list, and then you could take all that effort and push it to some new units or rule balancing or whatever. But hey, I'd rather play World Eaters, like I'd rather play the most boring standard Khorne Marines before the Leagues of Votann. So yeah. You know what? Can't go wrong with Chaos. And question number 20, which I believe is the last one. Am I related to the Lich of Adventure Time? I've never watched more than 5 minutes of Adventure Time, but I remember a lot of people talking a couple years ago, someone had put out a fan game, and a lot of people were talking about it because apparently it was supposed to be like a porn game, but everyone's like, yeah, but like the combat's like Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, how are you gonna have Kingdom Hearts combat in a porn game? And then I saw some WebM, so I was like, oh no, that actually looks like a proper action game. I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'll think of it as an action game with boobs. And I played it, and it was actually pretty good. It was shockingly competent action gameplay, and there were a pair of boobs or two, that from what I remember. I don't know, it's been a long time. I don't even remember the name of it. Every once in a while, I take random game suggestions like that, and for the most part, I'd say it's a pretty good turnout. I've played some really cool games that I would not have otherwise, just kind of on the whim. So if you catch me in the right mood, I'll probably play anything, really. I'm not, just because it's inherently a pornographic game doesn't, immediately turn it off in my books. Like, from what I know, the Rants series is like a hentai visual novel that's also simultaneously a really good strategy series. It's a lot of people talk highly about it, but I've never played it. Also, that Bacon Pancakes song comes into my head every once in a while. In all seriousness, are there any models not released yet that need an update or missing that you would see or blah 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 or blah, blah, hype for? I fucked that up. For 40k, I'd love the rest of the Eldar and Tyranid ranges to be updated, since I feel like every other faction is mostly well off. In general, I prefer the old multi-part system compared to what we have now, but I think what we've got now is kind of what the standard is going to be for Games Workshop, so I'm not going to be holding my breath. Generally, I love the new Sisters models, and I have a few. I bought a little squad of 10, and I have an Exorcist that's just been sitting up there, unpainted. I admit that was an impulse buy. Nah, but I think I'm a good ways off from starting a Sisters of Battle army. As for Age of Sigmar, I really don't care about Age of Sigmar. Everything from the aesthetic to the setting, I just don't care. It's not my style. But if Warhammer Fantasy Battle starts getting model updates with the old world on the horizon, I'd love to see some new stuff there. If we're talking a complete pipe dream, then I'd love to have like a proper Inquisition army, like a big mix of Guard, Sisters, and maybe like some Death Watch or something sprinkled in. But there's no chance of that. I'd just be content with mixing armies at all. I really like those old Alliance charts. Something about that tickled a good spot in my brain. Oh yeah, give us an Eldar HQ that's a Wraith unit, so you can run 100% Wraith lists. Wraiths are cool. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it here for now. My desk looks a little better. This little top area looking pretty good. I didn't really change anything up here. But that is indicative of a problem on the shelf in general. One sec. So, anyways, like I was saying, it's more indicative of a bigger problem. That there's not a lot of organization when it comes to the Warhammer boxes. I have a habit of trying to keep things on sprue so they're as mint condition as possible when I go to use them. But that means I have a lot of sprues bulking up the place, essentially. And when it comes to organization between like kits I want to use, like I've got assault intercessors in 4 different places, and I need to sit down one day, dedicate some more thought and time into storage, and figure out if there's a way I can optimize that space. Because right now, it's all stored and out of the way. It's just a matter of doing it better. But the main goal was to get that top shelf organized with the Gunpla and Dark Souls boxes, and that worked out. Getting my messy ass desk cleaned was a bonus. But yeah, now you guys you guys see how I live, essentially. It's certainly not as nice of a studio as other people on YouTube, but you know, I feel like if you really want to be making videos, that shouldn't, like, if you were trying to get into doing your own stuff, that shouldn't dissuade you, you know. Hopefully, you know, I can upgrade to a nicer area at some point, but until then, it's just making do with what I've got. But yeah, I'm gonna call it there. I'm kind of tired with fiddling it for now. I've got a lot of other sculpting that needs to be done. I need to get down and crack into it. But I hope you guys enjoy this little combination room tour Q&A kind of video. I know it's a lot longer than is reasonable, but I don't know, maybe you guys like it as like some kind of audiobook behind the scenes bullshit. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. I've got a lot of good things, or a lot of things I'm excited for in the pipes. It's just a matter of getting a project done to move on to it. So yeah, thanks for watching.